I just meditate, which is a practice designed to improve mindfulness in our life. I am Juan Young. I am the author of the book Mindfulness-Based Strategic Awareness Training, MBSAT. People always ask me what MBSAT means. MBSAT. I think a good way to answer this question is by looking at the acronym. And let's begin with the two first letters, MB. MB means mindfulness-based. Mindfulness is old technology. It's over 2,500 years old. It was created by a wise man in India. And the reason for the popularity today is because these practices have been validated by the scientific community. There are several types of mindfulness. There are programs. There are very many phases or different facets of mindfulness. I think that it's very useful maybe to present to you what I like to call a matrix of mindfulness-based programs. In this grid that I will create for you, we will have essentially two variables. One is, what is the orientation of the program? The orientation that could be secular, and an orientation that can be spiritual. And the other will be, what is the approach that this mindfulness program takes? The approach could be therapeutical, or can be designed for personal development. If we look at this grid now, let's begin by filling in the spaces. Here, in this grid, in this part of the grid, we will have programs who are therapeutical in approaches, and they have a secular orientation. One of these programs is mindfulness-based stress reduction program, MBSR. This is, in fact, one of the first, or maybe the first secular program that was designed over 40 years ago by a man named John Kabat-Zinn, with the idea of helping people with chronic stresses derived from issues with health, they could reduce this level of stresses. Another very popular therapeutical secular oriented program is MBCT, which is, by the way, the orientation where I got my training at Oxford University. This is a program with, the acronym means Mindfulness-Based Cognitive Therapy. This is a program that had been designed it is almost 15 years old now. It was designed to help people who have been depressed, at least in 3 different occasions, and it helped them prevent the incidence or the recurrence of depression situations. Now, to the lower part of the grid, we will have programs who have a therapeutic orientation, but they have a spiritual orientation. This will be, for example, a religious-oriented programs, which one finds often in Buddhist tradition. That will be places where we will find therapeutical approach combined with a spiritual orientation. And then we will have programs which are spiritual, but the orientation is toward personal growth, personal development. And that will be the practice that you will find in monasteries. Essentially, the type of practice that you will find in Zen monasteries or even in Western type of temples and seminars, right? And then we will have programs who have a secular orientation and are designed for personal development to help people achieve higher level of happiness or flourishing stage. And one of the first person who began to think about this in this type of thinking was a Harvard psychologist. Her name is Helen Langer. And the other program that I obviously like to recommend will be MBSAT, the program that I designed, MBSAT, which is a program designed to help people improve their decision-making skills, because what we know today is that a source of a lot of unhappiness is the lack of good decision skills about what is that people really make them happy. So here you have different orientations, you have different approaches, so it's a question of choosing which is the best program that better fit you. We can even, maybe you spare a moment, think about in society, in the Western society, we will have the general population, when we will place it in a Gauss curve, we will have essentially, just for simplicity purposes, obviously, we will have 4 stages of condition, 4 generalized mental condition where people normally spend their life. In this, left to this middle of the curve, we will have issues of persons with mental issues. These are people with depression, psychosis, all these type of different type of affliction, mental afflictions. Then we will have here a group of people, which you can see significantly, in a state that we call languishing. These are people who are just getting by. They have the feeling that they're living a life which is very boring and dull. And then here we will have a group of people who are living a life that we could define as moderate happy, moderate. And these are people who are doing well, but they know that they can do better, right? And then at the right side of the curve, we will have the really happy people, the people who are flourishing. They are living the life to the full potential. These are the flourishing people. So, having seen that, we can try to match this, 2 graphics here, and then we will see that MBCT, MBSR will be quite obviously designed for people around this part of the curve. And obviously, it's easy to infer that for people around this part of the curve, MBSAT could be the right choice. even for people around here, that could be an interesting choice for them. So, different choices, and these are the important choices in life. Which one is good for you to find your fit?